Hi all, welcome. Cynthia here, doing a art journal layout today. So I've obviously started a little bit on this page. It's probably had some washi tape down from previous projects I've done, and I've just used it up. And so now I'm just adding some gesso over top of that to add a little bit of dimension and to seal the page. Today I'm got the inspiration for this page from a lady that I've recently found on YouTube, Anina Rabina, I believe is how you say her name. And there was an art journal prompt recently that she did called Bloom. So I've sort of followed along from that. So I'm pulling out my watercolours here that I had given to me, and so a lot of them are a little bit dry, and I really don't know how to use them, but I mess around and see what I can come up with. Grabbed out this stencil and put a little bit of texture paste, once again some texture on the page, and put the excess on the page beside me. Now, I wish I thought about that a little bit more, and I would have put that lines on the other side a little bit straighter. So I sort of went a bit crooked. Not that it matters, but so messing around now with these colours. I think I showed you the colours there at the beginnings, so I hope you can see what they were. But I'm now just spreading it across the page. I was initially just going to do one side of the page, but I have now decided that I will do both sides. And I don't know whether you can see that I've set that stencil up the top, and I have here we go. There you go. I sat it on top of that paper towel there, and the stencil is just slightly sticky on one side, and I absolutely love these stencils because they sit so close to the page and nothing leaks underneath. But on this particular day, I had the paper towel stuck everywhere, so I had to go and rewash the stencil. Lesson learnt there. So now I'm just spreading some colours around the page. Seeing what I can do. I must have had my old watercolour pencil there, because you can see that it's taken up the colour of the paint. It used to drive me mad. I've thrown that in the bin and have brought a new one, which works lovely. This is this background. Wow, this has gone back a long time. Right, yeah, so my initial plan was to use up those letter stickers there, or not stickers, just some alphas there, and put them on the page and then make that to do with the page somehow. But I put them down and got to that point and I didn't like it. And I reckon it's sat in my stash for, maybe I'll put this down and then it sat. Yeah, I'll put these down. And then it's sat there as a half-finished page for maybe 2 months. And I didn't have a clue what I was going to do with it. And you see it goes through lots of different stages, and yeah, ends up a bit crazy. But anyway, really gets all covered up in the end and you don't see much of this. But I thought I'd leave it in to show that how crazy I can be. There we go, start to cover it up. The black pen's starting to run when I put the gesso on. So, which I kind of liked at the time. I sort of gave it a little bit more of a grungier feel to it. And I thought, okay, yep, I might be able to do something with this. Let's see. What am I doing now? So, right, okay, look at that hot mess. So as I said, it sat in my stash for ages, and I was doing another project and I thought, right, I'm just going to try to cover this up a little bit. So I put some just some blue paints on it, acrylics or whatever it was. Now I've come back in and I've grabbed out some blue and teal, I guess you would call it, gelatos, and I've added those over the top of the page, and I really like it. It's got lots of dimension and texture to the page. Pulled out this new stamp set that I received and stamped some stamps, and then I grabbed my Derwent Inktense pencils and coloured them all in. And now I'm drawing a vase. Now this part of the process is where I've used Nina's inspiration. I happened to be watching her and she pretty much did this exactly same thing, far better than I did it, but this is what she basically done. So I thought, yes, let me try that as well. So you saw I cut out a little bit of a stencil and in a vase shape and traced that onto my page. I guess I probably could have freehand that, but just to get it even. And now I'm going over with what's meant to be sort of a gold paint going over top. I think I put about 4 layers on here just to cover up that background. 3 or 4 layers. So this looks like it's my 3rd layer. And each time it's getting a little bit more of a gold feel to it. So then I grab out a stencil and decide I'll put a pattern on the vase exactly as was done by Nina in her process video. And you can see where I've cut out the actual shape of the vase. I've used that as a mask so it doesn't go on my page. Quite like the way that is, but I do come back in and oh, that's right, no, I didn't like that way, so I redid the vase on a separate piece of paper, made it neater and cleaner, and I've just stuck that over top, and I like the way that looks. Now I just arrange my flowers on top. There we go, put them all down, go through and add some gold marks over the page, highlight some of the texture paste in the background, add some gold glimmer to the vase and around the flowers, and then I go and find a quote. Now the quote that Nina used was just bloom, and I thought, well, I'll try not to copy her to the T. So I go away and find another quote, and I put that down soon as well. Just grab out some markers to add a little bit of shading around the flowers. And you can see that flower up the top right, it just didn't stamp it as dark. So I do go back in and fix that right towards the end of the video because it sort of stands out a little bit too much. I should have actually went away and re-stamped it and recoloured it, but yeah, that seemed like a little bit too much effort. So I made do, and I do make it darker, probably slightly darker in the end, and maybe most people may not notice it, but I certainly notice that it's a little bit different to the rest. But it's all a learning experiment and experience and understanding how everything works. So I've just left it. Now I've grabbed out my white painter pen and going to add some highlights. Put my quote down, which just says, "Pick flowers, not fights." And quite like that. And I just sit that over there on that side of the page. And that's really getting close to the end of the page. I think I just add some white highlights with my pen around, add some, as I said, some shimmer, outline around the text in the gold pen again, and as I said, adding a bit of glimmer here and there, a bit of sparkle. You can never have too much sparkle and shine. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the process as crazy as it was. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, leave me any comments, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.